I was a successful software engineer who worked hard to build a comfortable life with my wife Amanda. Our marriage of 5 years seemed picture perfect to anyone looking in. We had our beautiful home in suburban Seattle, luxury cars in the garage, and what I thought was genuine love between us. There were warning signs about her materialistic nature that I chose to ignore. Then came that Tuesday afternoon, when I accidentally overheard Amanda on the phone with her friend Martin. "He's just a paycheck to me." Those words shattered my world instantly. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you're watching from, and hit that subscribe button if you've ever felt taken for granted. I come from modest beginnings in Portland. My parents were hardworking people who taught me the value of earning what you have. I put myself through college studying computer science, often working 2 jobs while maintaining my grades. By the time I graduated, I had already secured a position at a promising tech startup in Seattle. It was at my college friend Kyle's wedding where I first met Amanda. She was a bridesmaid, radiating confidence and charm in a way that immediately caught my attention. With her flowing auburn hair and captivating green eyes, she was undeniably beautiful. But what really drew me to her was how she talked about her own career aspirations in marketing and her seemingly grounded values. "I admire people who build things that matter," she told me that night. "Not just chasing money, but creating value." We exchanged numbers, and within weeks we were dating steadily. Our connection felt effortless. Amanda seemed interested in everything about me, asking thoughtful questions about my work and my dreams. 8 months into our relationship, during a weekend trip to Vancouver, I proposed. Her tearful yes felt like the beginning of everything I had worked for. Looking back now, there were red flags I conveniently ignored. Like how Amanda would spend $400 on a single pair of shoes without blinking, or how she would sigh when seeing Instagram posts from her wealthier friends vacationing in exotic locations. "Someday we will have that too, right?" she would ask, her tone making it clear it was less a question and more an expectation. Our first major disagreement came when we were house hunting. I found a charming 3-bedroom home in a good neighborhood, perfect for starting our life together. "This is just our starter home, right?" Amanda said, walking through the living room with barely concealed disappointment. I always pictured something more substantial. I assured her that as my career progressed, we would upgrade. That seemed to pacify her temporarily. The wedding planning revealed more about Amanda than I was ready to acknowledge. What I envisioned as an intimate celebration with close family and friends quickly transformed into an extravaganza with a guest list of over 200 people, many of whom I had never even met. "This is our special day," Martin Amanda insisted whenever I brought up the ballooning costs. "Do you want people thinking we cannot afford a proper wedding?" I relented, as I often did, wanting to make her happy. Our wedding day cost nearly $70,000, consuming a significant portion of my savings. But seeing Amanda's smile as she walked down the aisle in her designer gown, I told myself it was worth every penny. Our first year of marriage had its usual adjustment periods, but was generally happy. We would have occasional disagreements about finances, particularly when credit card bills arrived, but nothing that seemed out of the ordinary for newlyweds figuring out their financial rhythm. My career was advancing rapidly. The startup I worked for was acquired by a larger tech company, resulting in a substantial promotion and salary increase for me. My annual income nearly doubled to $220,000, which put us in a comfortable financial position. With this improved financial status, Amanda immediately began pushing for us to move to a more upscale neighborhood. She had carefully curated a collection of home listings in some of Seattle's most expensive areas. "We deserve this, Martin. You work so hard," she would say, skillfully appealing to my pride while masking her materialistic motives. We eventually purchased a 4,000-square-foot home in an exclusive neighborhood that stretched our budget considerably, with a mortgage payment that was nearly triple our previous one. Shortly after moving in, Amanda made an announcement that should have been another warning sign. "I think I want to take a break from work for a while," she said casually over dinner one evening. "I want to focus on making our house a home. Maybe do some volunteering." I supported her decision, believing that if we could afford for her to pursue her passions, why not? Her marketing job had paid reasonably well, but we could manage without it, given my new salary. The volunteering, however, never materialized. What did materialize was a pattern. As our expenses increased, so did my work hours. I began taking on additional projects and responsibilities to ensure our financial security. Meanwhile, Amanda's shopping habits became increasingly extravagant. Designer clothing, expensive furniture, frequent spa days and luxury vacations became her norm rather than exceptions. I began to feel more like a provider than a partner, but I dismissed these feelings. I loved Amanda and wanted her to be happy. If my hard work could provide her with the lifestyle she desired, was that not part of what marriage was about? I told myself this was normal, that every relationship had its compromises. Little did I know just how one-sided our compromises had become. It happened on an ordinary Wednesday. I had been experiencing debilitating migraines for several weeks, likely from the stress of my increasing workload. My doctor had advised me to take it easier, so when a particularly severe headache struck around 2 in the afternoon, I decided to head home early. I sent Amanda a quick text letting her know I was coming home but received no response. Assuming she was busy with whatever filled her days, I thought nothing of it. When I pulled into our driveway, I noticed her luxury SUV was there, along with another car I recognized as belonging to her friend Jessica. Not wanting to interrupt their visit with my migraine complaints, I quietly entered through the side door that led directly to my home office. I planned to take some medication and lie down until I felt better. As I passed by the kitchen window, I heard Amanda and Jessica chatting on the back patio. I was about to announce my presence when I heard my name. "So, how are things with Martin?" Jessica asked. There was a dismissive laugh from Amanda before she replied, "Martin, he is just a paycheck to me." I froze, her words hitting me like a physical blow. "That sounds harsh," Jessica said, though her tone suggested more amusement than disapproval. "Oh, please," Amanda continued, unaware of my presence just inside the house. "We both know I never really loved him. He was safe and stable when I needed someone. Now he makes great money, works all the time, and never questions anything I do." "Has he never suspected anything?" Jessica asked. "Like what?" "The shopping. The fact that I have zero interest in being intimate with him anymore." "Or do you mean Brian?" My stomach dropped at the mention of an unfamiliar male name in such a context. "Martin is too devoted to ever think I would cheat," Amanda said with another cold laugh. "He actually believes I go to that many yoga classes. And even if he did suspect something, he would never leave. His entire identity is wrapped up in being the perfect husband and provider. It is pathetic, really." I felt physically ill. The migraine intensified as blood rushed to my head. My chest tightened so severely I worried I might be having a heart attack. Every word was another dagger into the life I thought we had built together. "So what is your long-term plan here?" Jessica asked. "Honestly, stick around until we have been married 10 years. In Washington, that pretty much guarantees me half of everything plus alimony and a divorce. His career trajectory is only going up. In 5 more years, I will be set for life." I backed away from the window, silently, legs barely supporting me. I made it to my car, somehow started the engine, and drove away without either of them knowing I had been there at all. I have no clear memory of where I drove for the next several hours. I just needed to be away to process what I had heard. Everything suddenly made terrible sense. The increasing emotional distance between us, her constant dissatisfaction no matter how much our lifestyle improved. The mysterious yoga classes that left her smelling faintly of cologne rather than incense. The separate bedrooms that began as a temporary arrangement due to my early morning calls, but had somehow become permanent. I pulled over at a waterfront park and sat staring at Puget Sound, as the reality of my situation sank in. Our entire marriage had been a calculation on her part. I had been selected, not loved; tolerated, not cherished. I was a financial resource to be drained and discarded once the legal timeline for maximum payout had been reached. Every special moment we had shared was now suspect in my mind. Had she ever loved me? Was our honeymoon happiness just an elaborate performance? The questions tortured me as evening fell. My initial instinct was to confront her immediately, to rage and demand answers. But some cooler part of my brain recognized that acting on raw emotion would only put me at a disadvantage. Amanda had been calculating for years. I needed to be strategic, not just reactive. I returned home around 9 that evening, composing myself before walking through the door. Amanda was in the living room, scrolling through her phone, looking up with mild surprise at my entrance. "There you are. Did you get my texts?" she asked casually. I had not checked my phone in hours and had no idea what she was referring to. I forced a smile. "Sorry, crazy day at work. What did you need?" "I was thinking of doing a spa weekend with the girls next week. That new resort in Napa. Would you mind transferring $5,000 to my account?" The audacity nearly broke my composure. Just hours after I had overheard her true feelings here, she was asking for thousands of dollars for what might well be another rendezvous with Brian, whoever he was. No problem, I said, maintaining my facade. Sounds like a nice break for you. She smiled, the same smile I had once found so beautiful but that now seemed predatory. You are the best. I ordered dinner from that Italian place you like. It is in the fridge if you are hungry. That night, lying in my separate bedroom, sleep was impossible. Instead, I reviewed our financial situation in detail. Joint checking and savings accounts. Multiple credit cards with me as the primary holder and Amanda as an authorized user. Our investment portfolio. The mortgage on our house. I had always managed our finances but had done so with complete transparency, giving Amanda full access to everything. That transparency, I now realized, would need to end. Immediately. The next morning I called in sick to work for the first time in years. As soon as Amanda left for her regular hair appointment, I began executing the plan that had formed during my sleepless night. My first call was to Andrew, my financial advisor. I explained that I needed an urgent meeting. 3 hours later, I sat in his office with a stack of financial documents. I need to understand all of my options, I told him, without revealing the full situation. I want to separate my finances from my wife's as much as legally possible as quickly as possible. Andrew looked concerned, but remained professional. Are you considering divorce, Martin? Because that would affect my recommendations significantly. Let us just say I need to protect myself immediately. With his help, we reviewed all of my accounts and investments. What we discovered was even worse than I had imagined. Over the past year alone, Amanda had spent nearly $140,000 on clothing, jewelry, spa treatments, and unexplained cash withdrawals. There were also numerous charges at upscale hotels in Seattle, all on days she claimed to be at yoga or having lunch with friends. Even more disturbing, Andrew discovered 3 credit card accounts I knew nothing about. Amanda had apparently opened these cards in my name using my social security number and personal information. This is identity fraud, Andrew said gravely, even between spouses. My next stop was to a divorce attorney recommended by Andrew. Patricia Winters was a no-nonsense litigator who specialized in high-asset divorces with complicated financial situations. Washington is a community property state, Patricia explained after hearing my situation. Normally, assets acquired during marriage are split evenly. However, the credit cards opened in your name without your knowledge could constitute financial fraud, which changes things considerably. Patricia helped me develop a detailed plan. First, document everything. The unauthorized credit accounts, the excessive spending, if possible, evidence of the affair. And most importantly, evidence of Amanda's statement that she saw me as just a paycheck and her plan to divorce me after 10 years to maximize her financial gain. Can I legally record her if she repeats any of this? I asked. Washington is a 2-party consent state for recordings, Patricia advised. But keep detailed notes of anything she says with dates and times, and secure any evidence you already have. Next came the immediate financial moves. I opened new bank accounts at a different institution from our joint accounts. I instructed my employer to redirect my direct deposit to this new account starting immediately. Fortunately, our next payday was only 2 days away, so the change would take effect before Amanda would notice. Patricia also advised me to gather and secure all important documents, birth certificates, property deeds, tax returns, investment statements, and anything else of legal or financial importance. Do not move out of your home no matter how uncomfortable it becomes, she warned. In high-asset divorces, temporary possession of the family home can sometimes influence final property settlements. The most decisive action came next. I called every credit card company and requested immediate removal of Amanda as an authorized user on my accounts. For the joint credit cards, I requested they be frozen. For the fraudulent cards she had opened in my name, I filed formal fraud reports explaining that while I was married to the person who had opened them, I had never authorized these accounts. All of this was accomplished within 8 hours, while Amanda enjoyed her day of beauty treatments and lunch, with friends blissfully unaware that her financial pipeline was being systematically dismantled. For the next 3 days, I maintained a perfect facade of normalcy. I returned to work. I engaged in our usual superficial conversations over dinner. I even agreed when Amanda mentioned wanting to redecorate our master bathroom, knowing full well it would never happen. Then came Saturday morning. Amanda had planned a shopping trip to her favorite luxury boutiques downtown. I kissed her goodbye, wished her a fun day, and waited. The call came at 1:32 in the afternoon. Her name flashed on my phone screen, and I took a deep breath before answering. Martin. Her voice was shrill with anger. All of our cards are being declined, every single one. The sales associate at Nordstrom just looked at me like I am some kind of criminal. What is going on? I kept my voice calm and even. That is strange. Where are you now? I am sitting in my car, completely humiliated. I had to leave a $3,000 dress at the register. Fix this immediately. I think you should come home, so we can discuss this in person. Discuss what? Just call the credit card companies and tell them to fix it. I paused, then spoke the words I had rehearsed. I heard you, Amanda. Last Wednesday, with Jessica on the patio. The line went silent. I heard you say I am just a paycheck to you, I continued. I heard about your affair with Brian. I heard about your 10-year plan to divorce me for maximum financial benefit. Martin, I do not know what you think you heard, but do not insult my intelligence by lying more. I interrupted, my voice still calm, but firm. I heard every word. And now we are going to deal with reality. Her tone changed immediately, shifting to a tearful, pleading quality that I once would have responded to with immediate concern. Baby, please, you misunderstood. Jessica and I were just talking nonsense. You know how she is always pushing me to say outrageous things. I love you. I have already spoken with a divorce attorney, I said, ignoring her performance. I have documented the credit cards you fraudulently opened in my name. I have statements showing your excessive spending and records of hotel charges, on days you claim to be elsewhere. It is over, Amanda. You cannot do this to me. Her fake tears transformed instantly into rage. After everything I have done for you, I gave you the best years of my life. You gave me nothing but lies. Come home, and we can discuss the logistics of our separation civilly, or I can proceed with formal legal action immediately. Your choice. She hung up. 30 minutes later, the front door slammed with such force that pictures rattled on the walls. Amanda stormed into the living room where I was calmly waiting. You think you can just cut me off like this? She screamed. I am your wife. That money is half mine. The money I earn is for our household, not for hotel rooms with Brian or $5,000 spa weekends that are covers for something else, I replied. Since you have made it clear that our marriage is a financial arrangement to you, I have adjusted the terms. What followed was the most revealing 2 hours of our relationship. With nothing left to hide, Amanda showed her true self completely. She threatened and cajoled. She tried tears and seduction. When none of that worked, she called her parents, who then called me, making vague threats about their connections with important people in Seattle. I simply informed them that I would be happy to send them the evidence of their daughter's infidelity and fraud, along with her recorded statements about seeing me as nothing more than a paycheck. They backed off immediately. By evening, Amanda had packed several suitcases and announced she would be staying with Jessica. Before she left, she tried one final manipulation. You will regret this, Martin. No one will ever love you like I did. I could not help but laugh. That is actually the first honest thing you have said to me in years. No one else would ever pretend to love me, while secretly despising me, cheating on me, and planning to divorce me for maximum financial gain. You are quite unique in that regard. As her car disappeared down our driveway, I felt an overwhelming mix of emotions, grief for the marriage. I thought I had relief that the deception was over, and surprisingly, a sense of liberation I had not anticipated. The divorce process was neither quick nor pleasant, but having taken decisive action early gave me significant advantages. The documentation of Amanda's statements about seeing me as a paycheck and her long-term financial plans were particularly damaging to her case, especially when combined with evidence of the unauthorized credit accounts and her affair. While Washington's community property laws still entitled her to a portion of our marital assets, her documented financial misconduct significantly reduced what she ultimately received. The judge was particularly unimpressed by the credit card she had opened in my name, which resulted in a ruling requiring her to take full responsibility for those debts. In the months that followed our separation, I struggled with severe trust issues and periods of depression. How could I have been so blind? How could I have mistaken convenience for love? The questions haunted me through many sleepless nights. Rebuilding came gradually. I found an excellent therapist, specializing in betrayal trauma, who helped me understand that my desire to be a good provider had made me vulnerable to Amanda's manipulation. I had defined my worth through my ability to provide financially, which was exactly what she had exploited. I sold our house, unable to live with the memories it contained. Instead, I purchased a smaller but comfortable waterfront condo that felt completely my own. For the first time in years, every decision from furniture to wall color was made solely according to my preferences. Friends I had lost touch with during my marriage resurfaced in my life. Kyle, whose wedding had been the site of my fateful meeting with Amanda, became a regular presence again. His unwavering support and our long history helped ground me during the most difficult periods. "You know what your problem was, Martin," he said during one of our fishing trips. "You have always been the reliable one, the responsible one. Some people see that as something to appreciate. Others, like Amanda, see it as something to exploit." Those words struck me profoundly. I had always viewed my reliability as a virtue, never considering it could make me a target for someone seeking financial security rather than partnership. My relationship with money itself needed healing. I met with a financial therapist who helped me separate my sense of self-worth from my income and financial status. I learned to value myself for who I was, not what I could provide materially. I reconnected with my parents and younger brother relationships that had suffered from neglect during my marriage. Amanda had always found reasons to minimize family visits, claiming my parents were too provincial or that my brother was immature. In reality, she had been isolating me from the people who might have helped me see through her facade. 1 year after discovering Amanda's betrayal, I found myself in a remarkably different place, both literally and figuratively. My career continued to thrive, but I had established better boundaries around work hours. My new home reflected my actual tastes rather than status aspirations. Most importantly, I had begun dating again cautiously, but optimistically. Jennifer was different from Amanda in every meaningful way. A pediatric nurse practitioner, she had a genuine compassion that manifested in everything she did. Our relationship developed slowly, built on honest conversations and shared values rather than superficial attraction. When I finally told Jennifer the full story of my marriage, her response told me everything about her character. "I am so sorry you experienced that," she said, holding my hand tightly. "But I am also impressed by how you handled it when you discovered the truth." Not everyone would have found that kind of strength. The red flags I had ignored with Amanda now served as valuable warning signs. I became attuned to authenticity in relationships, wary of anything that felt performative or transactional. I established clear financial boundaries early, a practice my therapist had strongly encouraged. The most important lesson from my experience with Amanda was learning the difference between being valued and being used. Real love is not measured in what you can provide materially, but in the mutual respect, support, and genuine care that exists, whether times are lean or plentiful. Forgiveness was the final hurdle, not for Amanda's sake but for my own. Carrying anger and resentment only kept me tethered to the pain. Letting go did not mean excusing what she had done, but rather refusing to let it define my future. I sometimes wonder if Amanda ever reflected on the collapse of her carefully constructed plan. Our divorce was finalized less than 6 years into our marriage, far short of the 10-year mark she had been targeting for maximum financial benefit. Her affair with Brian apparently ended shortly after our separation, suggesting it may have been more opportunistic than meaningful. The last I heard through mutual acquaintances, she had moved to Los Angeles and was dating a much older entertainment executive. I genuinely hope she has found whatever it is she is looking for, though I suspect true contentment will elude her until she addresses her own issues with authenticity and materialism. As for me, I continue to build a life based on genuine connections rather than appearances. My relationship with Jennifer progresses naturally without the artificial timeline or materialistic pressures that characterized my marriage. I have learned to recognize my own value beyond what my bank account or job title might suggest. The moment I stopped being a paycheck was the moment I started being myself again. And that, ultimately, was worth every painful revelation and difficult decision along the way. Have you ever felt like someone was using you rather than valuing you for who you truly are? Share your experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more real-life lessons. Your support means everything to me, and I appreciate each one of you who takes the time to watch these videos. Until next time, remember that your worth is never determined by what you provide, but by who you are.